how crazy it is that they spent $24 billion last year on the homeless.
Yeah.
And what did they spend on preventing these wildfires?
Zero.
All right, guys. What I'm about to show you is absolutely mind-blowing. While LA is literally burning to the ground, we just found out where California's real priorities are, and it's not protecting their citizens. 3 major Hollywood figures just exposed how California leaders spent $24 billion on a homeless program while spending zero on fire prevention. But this isn't just about bad priorities. This is about a massive money laundering scheme happening right in front of our eyes. Let's connect these dots.
Zip. And then he gets on TV and pretends like everything's great.
Mm-hmm.
And California's the best. We have the best state. We have the most amazing economy. And like, you're out of your mind, dude. You've ruined this state.
And in 2019, I think Newsom said, I'm going to take care of the forests and maintain the forests and do all that kind of stuff. He didn't do anything.
And then on top of that, they cut the water off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's all funny. And then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know, but it's like, it's sad.
Mel Gibson and Joe Rogan just talking about the states. I think Mel Gibson left. Oh, actually, all his stuff burned. So now he's going to make a decision whether he wants to get out of there. It's devastating. Over 10,000 structures, so many homes, lives, neighborhoods just gone. And you say to yourself, well, there's some things called natural disasters. You got Sandy, nobody's fault, but were you ready? Then you have hurricanes hit North Carolina in the mountains, unprecedented. It's no one's fault, but are you ready? I don't think that governor did a great job, especially compared to the governor in Florida, Governor DeSantis. Does anybody think that Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass were ready? We find out about these huge water tanks. They say the first water tank was out in a few hours. The second one out by the end of the day. The third one was out by the next day. And by Thursday, there was no water in Pacific Palisades for firefighters to even open up the hydrants, so they stopped. Please don't tell me that you had a plan. Don't. Joining us now, Tyrus, Fox Nation host, author of Enough Said, daily panelist and sometimes host of Gutfeld, host of Maintaining Tyrus on Outkick, and also he's got some events coming up too. He's a stand-up comic. Tyrus, welcome back.
Always a pleasure, B.
So Tyrus, we wanted to open up with Rogan and Mel Gibson, just talking about the incompetence on the West Coast. Outside Katrina, do you ever remember more anonymous feeling, more of an anonymous, unanimous feeling that these executives are over their heads and unprepared?
Well, I think New Orleans echoed that as well, unfortunately. I grew up in California. I moved to California from Boston when I was, I think, 8. And from the day I can remember, every year there was fire rules and wind rules. You wouldn't make a fire. You wouldn't go camping during the windy season because you can't make a fire. There was never fireworks. You had drills. If you saw somebody lighting matches, you were supposed to report them. So it's not like this isn't something that Californians grow up with and understand. And it's not like that we haven't had issues in California with fires over the past decade. What's shocking is the level of incompetence and arrogance from these officials, that they spend so much time on DEI stuff and diversity stuff and dumping millions and millions of dollars into the homeless situation. Adam Carolla made a great point. There's hundreds of thousands of Californians that are literally homeless now, and yet they're not sleeping under freeways and in tents. They're part of the community. They have family, friends, and they're able to find places to go. They're able to evacuate places to go. So there's a complete disconnect with you're dumping money on a group that doesn't necessarily want to be helped in that way because they're either a drug addict, a criminal, or suffering severe mental health issues. So you're just throwing money away. It's virtue signaling, and the money's going. And I would love for a forensic accountant to look to see where that money's really going. You had the same thing in New York with the previous, mayor? I can't remember the tall, goofy guy no one liked.
De Blasio.
Yeah, where his wife was in charge of
$1 billion on the Thrive
Yes.
Foundation that nobody
Yes.
benefited. We don't know where the money is, and nobody's asking.
Exactly. And that's the problem. But also the other side of it, Californians, this is what you get when you vote for the picture on the box. This is what happens when your mayor had 17 hours on a plane to think of a way to comfort her constituents. She was silent, stared in the face because she couldn't think of who to blame. And that's what it is. They all pass the buck. And Newsom, I think the most telling video was the lady who ran him down as he was trying to get away from her. Tried to get in his car. His hand was on the doorknob when she turned the corner, and then he tried to tell her that he was on the phone with the president, and then she said, "Put him on speaker." And he lied right to her face.
Yeah, he goes, "Yeah, well, I can't get through.
I can't get a signal, so I have to go." He was looking for a place to do a interview where it would look like he was on the ground. He was boots on the ground, and I think that's what Californians have to figure out. You need to stop electing people based on the boxes they check and hit the resume. Hit someone that has at least skin in the game when it comes to wildfires in California and natural disasters. I remember the San Francisco earthquake when I was growing up was a big deal, but it was unified. Now, I remember there was that great picture. I think it was Will Clark helping one of the children get out of the stadium, but there was a plan in place, and there was, and it wasn't days after where you had, the government officials coming out and talking in past tense. Her press conference, I don't know what was worse with Bass, the silent stare or the completely unintelligent press conference where she was talking like the fire hadn't got here yet.
So here it is. Listen to this. Cut 12.
We did not see a single fire engine. We watched as Good Samaritans guided traffic. There was fear and there was a lot of confusion. You were out of the country at the time. What explains this lack of preparation and rapid response?
Let me just say, first and foremost, my number one focus, and I think the focus of all of us here with one voice, is that we have to protect lives, we have to save lives, and we have to save homes. Rest assured that when
did not happen.
assured, let me finish. Rest assured, when that is done, when we are safe, when lives have been saved.
Enough. We'll go back and do a forensics on what went wrong. I don't believe for a second that those water tanks were full, number one. And number two is the president said that the electric went off and the pump stopped. That's why the hydrants didn't get anything. Did you tell the governor that, genius? Because he's never said a word about that. Where'd you get that from?
The part that I loved the best was that she was reading her prepared statement, not the question.
Right.
And the reporter did a great job, and I'm glad to see, maybe because the journalist was affected, that they're asking follow-up questions of the left again. And he hit her with, "It's too late. It already happened." And she's like, "Let me finish." And she had to be aggressive, and because he was being misogynistic, I guess, by questioning her. I guess no one told her that she was the friggin' mayor, and she kept going with her statement, and that's perfect. Cut it off. They're unprepared, and this is a growing trend again. New Orleans, the nightmare, and then you get the politician is in there and they say, "Well, we had a plan, but the terrorists beat our plan."
In New Orleans.
So I guess, and then I guess now the mayor's going to say, "We had a plan, but the fire beat our plan." So they have an excuse for everything. And the best part is when you catch them unprepared, you see exactly what you voted for. There was no fire, and I mean, and I hate to use the word, there was no fire in her like, "We're going to fix this." And I've been on the plane for what were you doing on the plane for 17 hours that you couldn't come up with a way to say you were sorry? I mean, the only thing we didn't get was their patented thoughts and prayers.
So the only, which, by the way, I can't even hear again. But I'm going to say this. Karen Bass declared a state of emergency, then went on a 17-hour plane ride to a country that only could benefit her, because nobody in Los Angeles wants her to go represent L.A. in Ghana. during an inaugural.
No.
And one of the reasons she wasn't the vice presidential nominee over Kamala Harris, because she had this little communist problem. She seems to like Castro, seemed to love Chavez, and they go, well, that's going to be a tough shot to get out of. We'll probably have to pick Kamala Harris. This woman is a mess. You know, sometimes, Tyrus, there are things you could try really hard at. You just don't have the proclivity. You don't want me working on your house. You definitely don't want me changing your oil. And I'll try, but I'll do a bad job. She should not be a politician. Neither should Harris. Whatever you think about Elizabeth Warren, she's a politician. She can speak. Whatever you think about AOC, she knows what she's doing. You might not agree with her, but they're doing the right thing in their life. She should not. She wants to be the Queen of England. She wants the respect, title, and power. She doesn't want to do the job.
It was given to her based on, again, the boxes. And you hate to say, but here's the thing. Even if I knew that you were working on my house, but your effort was there. Like, listen, I don't know a straight angle from a circle, but I'm here and I'm going to get somebody that can do this. I'll search. I'll have my people find. There's an effort there. But again, as mayor of California, your two biggest issues is fire and crime. And they have failed miserably at that. And one of the biggest problems during these fires that are still, I think, last time I checked, I think they were at 6% contained.
Depends on, there's like six different ones. Some are doing, there's some that are doing better than others.
Yeah, but it's the looters. It's the criminal element that is now scourging, looking for these houses that are left and banks that are, and again, because they're emboldened. They could go into Beverly Hills with a hammer and go on a shopping spree, and no one could do anything.
Stop right there! You seeing this pattern? While criminals are literally looting Beverly Hills with no consequences, California dumped $24 billion into programs that solve nothing. And now when actual disaster strikes, there's no money for basic fire prevention. This is exactly how the system works. Create fake programs to funnel money while ignoring real public safety. Every single time.
And now and then here's the problem is that these homeowners are now wanting to risk their own well-being to go protect what's left of their home from other Californians. Like, this is the state of anarchy that the state that I love, that I grew up in, and California was a place, it was one of the coolest places in the world. You know why? Because you could literally go to the beach on Saturday, go to the mountains on Sunday, Monday hit the desert, and then go down and be in the city. It had everything for everyone, and they have turned it into, it is just, it's a cesspool. Venice, the place where I got my big break and where I trained to lift weights and it was one of the places where I got my big break in entertainment and stuff. I can't bring my kids there to show them the wall with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno and all, the great and the actors and the history, because I got to walk through Homeless Row to get there, and I'm not subjecting my kids to that. Bus stops are hotels, and you see the drug addicts everywhere. It's horrible.
Right.
So when you've let this place, at one point, Dr. Drew was concerned about bubonic plague in California. So, I mean, this is what these guys have done, but there's never eyes on it. New Orleans, even worse. No one ever questioned the mayor is corrupt. The lady has a career of an ineptness, but they always seem to find each other. And now we've had horrible things happen, and their best answer is, well, President Trump's making it political. Yeah,
Right.
you're damn right it's political.
Well, you
But
know what
it's
they
your
say.
job.
You know what they say about addicts. You got to hit rock bottom. You have no other options. Then you got to make choices.
Yeah.
This could be the rock bottom where people turn around and say, as Justine Bateman said last night to Jesse, he goes, "We got to stop looking at an R&D next to their name and look at competence."
This right here, this is the whole game exposed. They don't want you looking at competence or results. They want you focused on politics while they run the biggest scam in California history. Think about it. $24 billion could have fixed every single fire prevention issue in the state. Instead, they're flying to Ghana while LA burns. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly how they designed it.
And I look at this guy, Rick Caruso. I can't do his unauthorized biography, but do you know he was president of Water and Gas? as well as being a self-made multimillionaire. Don't you want that guy? Do you know that he hired his own firefighters? Whatever you think of that, just in case to take care of Pacific Palisades, whatever his community is that he bought and now rents, and what they made is his own condo center. Do you know not one of those buildings burned? Because they said, listen, you don't want me as mayor, that's fine. But if I'm going to go back to my business, I'm going to make sure my people survive any calamity. So he had his private firefighters. He said the whole water system to antiquated is under-financed, and he knew it. Hey, people of Los Angeles, you had your choice. They're both Democrats. You could have had the business executive, or instead you have the failed congresswoman, and you got her. Go at it. And now you got the results. Hopefully people make some decisions on competence. I appreciate you joining me. When are we going to see you again, Tyrus?
I think I'm back in the airways, I think Tuesday. And tonight I got a stand-up show in Connecticut.
Is it sold out? Where is it?
Yeah, it's sold out. All I know is I have about 45 events. So I know I'm in Connecticut tonight and New Hampshire tomorrow.
Where do we go to see you on stage? What website?
You just hit my Twitter up or my Instagram.
Okay.
And you click on the link tree at Tyrus Smash, and they'll have all the dates and everything where it's at.
All right. Tyrus, thanks so much. Always appreciate it. We'll see you in the halls next week.
Look, what we just uncovered isn't just another government failure. This is a deliberate scheme to funnel billions of taxpayer dollars through fake programs while completely abandoning basic public safety. Let me break down what these wildfires just exposed. $24 billion thrown at homeless programs that solved absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, they spent $0 on fire prevention. Their water tanks were empty. They had no emergency response plan. And where were their leaders during all this? On vacation. If you're ready to expose more of these massive money funneling schemes, hit subscribe and drop "follow the money" in the comments. They don't want these dots connected, but we're going to keep doing it anyway.